around 9 months ago, I had an injury. I tore my ACL. So ACL recovery takes up to 1 to 2 years, one and a half year to recover. So I got my surgery done and I got into physiotherapy as my doctor advised. So I used to go to my physiotherapy week in, week out, and I had to push myself. Like I wanted to get back to playing football. So I started searching for alternative on YouTube and I came across paleo training. So paleo training is all about moving around, the free movement basically. And from paleo training I came across Ido Portal, my bad. So Ido Portal is like a free, what do you say, like parkour and animal movements in mixed with, like fused into one. And here it's also a fusion of calisthenics. So I started implementing Ido Portal's training methods in my normal training, which included body weight exercises and weight training most of the times to like regain my muscle.
So I remember coming back from the UK around in Jan or Feb, and I remember when I started to train with you, and I saw you implement these really, I guess, weird, different exercises into our usual regime of exercising. And these were things like the lizard crawl and the gorilla walk. And well, when I saw that at first, I was really skeptical, I'll admit, and I thought it was quite funny seeing you walk around like a lizard all across, well, my terrace, But then you really got me interested in it. You got me interested in the idea of being able to move, being more flexible, and this interest you gave me on Ido Portal led me to research a little bit more about the movement, about this individual whose name is Ido Portal and how he started this movement. So yeah, I found that really interesting, and we've been incorporating those exercises for the last quite 6 months or so. We've been incorporating, and I see a huge improvement in myself. And as you mentioned before, you face an injury, and I can see your mobility increasing so much. And I myself have lower back problems as well, and it's helped me a lot. But let's first get into what Ido Portal is. Let's show our viewers, let's speak a little bit more about Ido Portal, and for that I'm gonna get on a clip for you. So Ido Portal is basically this man from Israel, and his passion is movement. So essentially he traveled all across the world to search for a dedicated movement trainer and a dedicated movement course, but he was unable to find this. And it was his passion for movement that led him to identify this gap in the market. And he invested lots of time learning from a variety of different people about movement. And he actually started teaching people this discipline. So I think it's quite important to understand that it's synonymous to other disciplines. So for example, you've got yoga, you've got CrossFit, you've got parkour. So movement, in this sense, what he's trying to teach is synonymous to these disciplines, and I find that really fascinating.
Movement as a concept is so simple. Everyone knows about it. But at the end of the day, we're all sitting on the couch, spending most of our time working at the same place. So I find Ido Portal's teachings very interesting because of this. He promotes us to move around, get that flow in our body.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think movement as a whole is a very simple but a very powerful concept that he's trying to promote. And I want to speak to you now a little bit about why I think the Ido Portal movement is going to be, or the discipline is going to be, extremely popular. I think there's several reasons for this. I'm going to start by speaking about Ido Portal, the man himself. And I think that, he's invested a lot towards this movement. And you can clearly see that his teachings are extremely unique because of the fact that He not just dispels, you know, information about the physical exercises that you should do in order to increase your mobility, but he also speaks more about the mental aspects of it. He digs deep down into the roots about why you need to move, what is the logic behind doing particular exercises. And because of the fact that he's not just giving away the physical exercise but also talking about the mental psychology behind doing this is why I think it's really a discipline like yoga. You know, for example, yoga is really physical, but there's also the whole mental aspect of the peace, the tranquility that it brings you, the ability for you to think. And in some sense, Ido Portal is trying to convey a message, not just a set of exercises that increase your mobility. And for this reason, I think it is really, really a powerful movement, and it's going to become popular for that reason. Second is because of, well, the students. Any sort of theory, any sort of discipline is supported by the students. And when you look at the sort of students that Ido Portal has attracted, you hear amazing stories. For example, I'm going to get a clip on of this woman who went through an accident, and she broke the lower part of her vertebrae. And within a period of, I think, 5 to 10 years, she was able to almost fully recover with the help of this Ido Portal movement. Another example is this woman who lost her limbs in a train accident. And it's just amazing, you know, the things she speaks about Ido Portal and the way she's able to move. She's able to move so much better than people with limbs, and I think it's quite amazing the way she describes how much this Ido Portal movement has helped her. Finally, you've got icons. You've got people like Conor McGregor, huge icon, who is learning from Ido Portal, and I'm sure most of you have seen his videos. And so you can really see that the students of the discipline are really powerful. Like, they are showing the progress, are showing that it is indeed like a very helpful discipline. And I want to ask you about your opinion on this movement training, because at the end of the day, it's movement training, right? Can this be applied to any sport? So the question I'm asking you is, do you think that everyone should learn movement training from early on? Do you think sports people should incorporate movement training, Ido Portal's training, into their daily schedule?
I think Ido Portal's movement training develops 3 skills. That's flexibility, mind-eye coordination, and mobility. So I think athletes at a higher level could incorporate this into their training. This would benefit them. It should help them move faster, the ability to react better.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. These 3 are very essential skills that should be practiced by every individual. And I think that regardless of what sport you're doing, these are skills that athletes, no matter what their level of athleticism is, should devote a little time of their week to. Yeah.
In particular, I think this training method is more beneficial for MMA, because they usually throw in punches, dodging punches, and trying to get out of certain positions. Suppose they're being grappled by their opponents, they have to find out ways to get out of it. So Ido Portal's methods help them like react faster and get rapid, so they can dodge punches at a quicker rate, and plus their mind to hand coordination is way faster. So as soon as they being thrown a punch by their opponent, they can dodge it and throw a quick jab and get out of the way.
Yeah, I think essentially the point we're trying to say is the fact that yes, there are some sports that will benefit from this training more, like MMA, like boxing, because a lot of those kind of sports is the success in those sports is being able to move around really quickly, being able to react really quickly. But regardless of that, I think movement is a skill that is so basic and a skill that anyone, any athlete needs to have in order to be able to succeed. I guess, sure, like some people can argue, saying, F1 drivers, for example, they don't really need to move that much. Like lots of F1 drivers, I think, are actually quite stiff. But F1 drivers do need to be able to react really quickly. And I think the core premise of what Ido Portal is trying to teach is not just the ability to move, but also ability to react.